Hi there, this is Chris from Money Hub, and this video reviews the Travelex Money Card and the Wise Debit Card. So we compare them side by side to see what's best. Just as a spoiler alert, the Wise Debit Card, has been around for a shorter time. It's a new product. It's been around about 5 years. It's launched in New Zealand about 3 years ago. But from all the comparisons that we've done and everything that we've heard, we can see online with the live rates, the Wise debit card is significantly cheaper than the Travelex Money Card. So effectively, you're paying anything between 2 and 5% less for the same currency. So it's around 5% for British pounds. It's around 3.5% for euros. So these things certainly add up. So if you're taking out, $1,000 and traveling somewhere, then you can save big with the right card. So just as a quick overview, what we're looking at, really is just the two cards in detail. So just as a background to them, both of them are, for all intents and purposes, travel money cards. So they're prepaid cards. You can't borrow on them or anything like that. They're not a credit card. But their differences are, it comes down to the fees and it comes down to the exchange rates. So Travelex has a lot of fees. It's got these, well, first of all, you have to do the first top-up fee, and then you've got this like minimum transfer of $250 New Zealand, which is kind of annoying and not that flexible. And then if you don't use the card, there's a $4 fee. And then if you want to close the card and get your money back, there's a $10 fee. Plus, also, if you spend money, and you haven't put it into a wallet, say, for example, you fly from Auckland to London, you stop in Singapore and you use it to buy, I don't know, some nice food in Singapore in transit. If you haven't like put money into a Singaporean dollar wallet, then you'll be charged a 4% penalty on that, which is kind of annoying as well. So there's all these kind of tricks out there that you have to be aware of with the Travelex card. Whereas the Wise card is simply it's a one-off fee, which is $14. I think that's come across because of the postage fees and everything like that. They're just trying to make sure people who are serious actually get the card. And then second to that, you'll pay an exchange rate, but that's got the Wise margin sort of built into it. So you're not getting any of these sort of strange fees for not using the card, or if you haven't put money into a wallet, then that's fine. You'll just pay the exchange fee on it. So there's not this sort of penalty that you'll find with Travelex. So just as a comparison here, you can see with Wise you can put up to like 50 plus currencies. Travelex is about 9. That's probably not going to affect you too much if you're traveling around Europe, around like US, Australia. But it is sort of worth noting if you are sort of going further afield. And then you can see that the Travelex rates are the ones that you'll pay, whereas the Wise debit card uses like the money rates between the banks, so much cheaper. And yeah, there's just a few sort of things to be aware of there. So yeah, we just look at the pros and the cons. So they're worth having a read of, and just making sure that you understand that whilst it looks a bit top heavy with the Travelex being lots of cons and then top heavy for Wise being lots of pros. This is all based on the information that we see and that we've done the comparisons for. So now it's time to look at the exchange rates. So I think the best process to work out, how much you'll be paying is to decide how much money you need, then compare them between the two websites using the tools. So there's obviously the Travelex site, which I'm on now. There's also the Wise site. So let's look at something quite easy to start with. Say we want to buy $1,000 New Zealand and we want to convert it into Australian. So what you do is you use this tool on the Travelex, and then you make sure that you don't click cash, that you click the Travelex money card, and there you can see that the exchange rate is 0.8844. So for $1,000, you're going to get 884 Australian. But then if you compare this to the Wise card, you're going to get $915. So why is that such a big difference of around $30? The, the reason is because the Wise exchange rate is 0.919, or it's about 0.92, whereas the Wise one's around 0.885. So that does make around about a 3.5% difference if you look at the exchange rates, which adds up. So for every, like $1,000 that you spend in Australia and New Zealand, you would actually pay $30. We actually lose 30 Australian dollars every time, because the fees would be taken by Travelex with their lower exchange rate. So that's really sort of worthwhile noticing. If we just do another quick comparison, let's do some euro. So 1,000 is going to get, you just have to check this. So click on the cash, just make sure it refreshes. Here it's the same exchange rate, but you can see that's going to buy you 600 euro. And then if you look at the Wise and you look at euro for that, uh, so the exchange rate there is 0.63, which is much higher. It's around, I'd sort of arguably say that's around 5% higher. So for that you're going to get 630 euros versus a 600 euros with Travelex. So if we look at the pound, um, it's going to be a similar situation. So once again, just reboot that. So just check it. Okay, so there the exchange rate's just under zero point 0.5, so you're going to get 499.90 pounds for the $1,000. But then if you compare that to here, you're going to get 524. So that's going to be a difference of around 25 pounds, which is around $50, which is, for a 1,000, it's around a 5% difference. These differences do add up. I don't know, how long you'll be away for or what you're going to be spending, how much, but it is going to be significant. So this is why, this legacy product of Travelex has been around forever and everyone's always used it. And I've, met a whole bunch of people around who have been like confused about it. When should they lock in the exchange rate? When shouldn't they? Is now the right time? What if I move countries? What do I do with that leftover wallet money? There's a lot of questions, and Wise has just come along and it's like, well, you can just keep it all in New Zealand dollars. You can transfer it into the wallets when you need to. Otherwise, we're not going to penalize you for, if you take your New Zealand dollars and buy a coffee in Switzerland, which is like, $10 worth, you'll pay the $10, you'll pay a small fee. But if that was the if that was the Travelex card, you will pay like a 4% surcharge on top of the exchange rate, and that's because if you haven't topped up with the Swiss franc, then it just gets so confusing, and you end up just paying fees and fees. And then, as the guide said, very clearly, there's closure fees, there's non-use fees, there's just a whole bunch of fees. So without, going on about it all, we're just finding that the Wise card is really such a strong offering, and it's not like, like the Travelex money cards, the second placeholder. It really isn't, able to be compared, as a runner-up. It's really just another of these legacy cards. There's a few of them left, but for this reason, this is why the Wise card really makes sense. So these exchange rates will tell you everything. You just need to go and see, what your money transaction will look like. And then I think the answer, right now, and like whenever you do it, is going to be pretty clear. It's going to be the fact that Wise is cheaper. So check it out for yourself. The links are below, so you can just go straight into it. Thanks so much for watching, and let us know if you have any questions. Thanks.